Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is my 2018 Kawasaki Z1000SX. I've named her Frankie. I've owned her since March 2020, so 16 months in total. In that time, I've ridden about 6,500 miles on her, and she's done just over 7,850 miles in total. I ride mainly on weekends in country lanes, but as you will have seen from the channel, there has also been some London riding and the odd motorway stint to get to some interesting roads. I'd ride through winter, lockdowns and restrictions allowing, and in all sorts of conditions, dry or wet, warm or cold, though I've not done too much night riding. This has been my ownership and riding experience for this bike. I wasn't too keen on the collar when I first saw the advert, but the Ilford Stig and Mrs. Noob were, and I'm glad they convinced me to take it. The collar has really grown on me. I paid £3,750 for her, plus my previous Ninja 650 in part exchange, from a Kawasaki dealer. The previous owner traded her in for a Harley allegedly. A terrible thing to do, but I've worked with Frankie and her confidence and self-image have come back. As an owner, I value reliability a lot. I want to have fun on my motorbike, and you can have fun riding any motorbike, so long as you can ride it. So I want my bike to work without hassle, to switch on every time, and not make any funny noises or rattles. I don't find fixing a bike or being broken down at the side of the road fun. In this regard, I've not been disappointed so far. The Z1000SX hasn't skipped a beat, and I've only had to do the usual basic maintenance. I've done a video about the modifications I've done on the bike, and that hasn't changed, so I'll put another link here. I've ridden this bike around London, Essex, Suffolk and Kent mostly, but I also recently rode it to Devon and back, which you can find in my channel, and I'll add some more links. I have more long rides planned in the coming months, so subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you won't miss those. I did the oil and brake fluid change myself, which was the first time I've ever done this on any vehicle, and to my amazement, I managed not to break anything. She recently completed the 7,500 mile service, which included changing the spark plugs and a whole bunch of inspections. Because I'd already done the oil and brake fluid, the total was £180, most of which was labour at £120, plus £50 for the spark plugs. Maybe next time I'll attempt the spark plugs myself. Things I like about my Z1000SX. Looks. I am very easy to please and find most bikes pretty, even some Harleys. But my image of a bike has always been one with a fairing, and I love the way Frankie looks. Even down to the large exhausts, I think they make her look chunky and balanced. Induction sound. This bike makes a lovely sound as you're riding along, in any gear and rev. The induction sound from the airbox is very pleasant to the rider. There's not much exhaust spark, but I don't mind that. Position and comfort. I can ride all day long on this bike.
Feet on the pegs, use of the brake, sit back, sit forward, turning on the bike, turning on the dash, display, engine start, get a rev counter, get a speedo, gear indicator, clock, outside temperature, mileage, average mileage, range, trip A, trip B, complete odo,
with about 180 miles of tank range, I can easily go 2 hours without a break. But I prefer to have a little stop and stretch every hour or so, more for the mind and for hydration. Admittedly, after 6 to 7 hours of riding, the backside starts to get a little sore. But most of my riding isn't that long, so I'm okay with it. Initially, I had to get used to my heels hitting the top of the heat shield occasionally, as I mostly ride with the balls of my feet on the pegs. But you quickly become used to that. Range. As I said, the range with a full tank is 180 miles if riding on B roads with lots of acceleration, which is what I normally do. For riding on motorways in 6th gear, it would extend a lot further. What I don't like. Fairing removal. This can be a bit of a pain. There are lots of bolts and push rivets and a couple of wire retainers that are really hard to access, but I can do it fairly quickly now. Chain access. Because of the large exhaust, there's only really a small area where I can reach the chain for regular maintenance. It's enough to get it cleaned and lubed and tested for slack, but I prefer a little bit more access. Even the chain guard is quite a faff to remove. No center stand. Given the large catalytic converter under the bike, there's really no room for a center stand, and as far as I know, there is not one available even aftermarket. This can be a pain on long tours as it makes it harder to clean and lube the chain, but at home it's easily solved with a front wheel chock and a paddock stand for the swing arm. In conclusion, I have had a very happy ownership experience with the Z1000SX. My daughter also likes going on rides, especially with the shad top box and backrest installed. In my mind, it's a very underrated bike that can do it all reliably and always puts a smile on my face. I also love looking at her anytime I can whilst I'm in my man cave / garage / office.